शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। आराध्य भगवान् ब्रजेश तनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम्। रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम पुमान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्र धारणा परः। अनर्पिताक्षरिं चिरात् करुणयावतीर्ण कलौ समर्पयितुं मुन्नतोज्ज्वलरसा स्वभक्ति श्रियम्। हरिः पुरट सुन्दरद्युति कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदये कन्दरे स्फुरतु वाशची नन्दना। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जगत मंगलाद्वैतो मंगल गुणधाम मंगल चरित्र सदा मंगल चारणा।
Hare Krishna. We'd like to welcome all of our listeners who have joined us live over YouTube, over Facebook, and our dear listeners who have joined us live over Zoom. We welcome all of you to this day 71 of Sri Gauramrita. Before we move forward, we'd like to congratulate and announce the names of the participants from day 70 of Sri Gauramrita, the quiz session. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Amrita Radhika, Anjudi, Vaijayanti Lalita, and Ranjani Gopika. Congratulations, and we are so grateful to all of you for your persistent and your continuation and your enthusiasm in taking the quiz. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
So today in session 71, we'll continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional pastimes, where we'll discuss the sweet pastimes of Lord Chaitanya on his journey towards Nilachal Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri, how Lord Jagannath, Lord Gauranga, showers his mercy on the tax collector on the way. And then we'll conclude today's session by describing the PhalaStuti, the benefits we receive by listening to these transcendental pastimes of Sri Gaurahari.
So in our last session, we heard how Lord Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he has started his journey towards Nilachal Dham, towards Jagannath Puri Dham, and how Lord Chaitanya, just a little farther away from Shantipur, when he just started his journey, Sri Advaita Gosai was running behind Lord Chaitanya, and how the Lord signified his love for Lord Chaitanya by tying a knot of love on his own cloth, of the love that Lord Gauranga feels towards Sri Advaita Acharya. Such a beautiful pastime we heard. And how the devotees, they sustain their lives in the physical separation of the Lord. We heard that. And how the Supreme Lord Sri Gaura Rai, he tested his devotees who were traveling with him. So now let us continue.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 1 text 96 he says Pathe nana lila rasa deva darshana Madhava Purina Katha Gopalasthapan. On the way towards Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed many other pastimes. He visited various temples and he heard the story about Madhavendra Puri and installation of Gopal. So Srila Lochan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Mangal, he describes the same context, saying that the Lord Gaurasundar set out towards Nilachal. His gait was that of a stalking, maddened lion. And Kalasuda explained in great detail in the last session the importance of stalking, maddened lion. But along the way to Nilachal, Lord Chaitanya chanted the holy names, Hari, 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 Hari. And he was overwhelmed with Krishna prema. And sometimes he would walk very slowly, staggering as if he was in intoxication. And sometimes he would race down the road like a charging lion with his hands raised, eager to have the darshan of Lord Jagannath. And sometimes he would sing the holy names in a roaring voice while he was dancing joyfully. In the next moment, he would start crying. And in this transcendental madness, Lord Gauranga would occasionally jump excitedly by hiking his dhoti up and jumping and jumping and jumping. And from his head to toe, his body would become covered with tiny bumps of ecstasy. And as we said, he would either move quickly or he would move slowly.
And when Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when his golden body would become covered in these ecstatic manifestations of tiny goosebumps appearing all over his body, the acharyas, they explain that Gauranga Mahaprabhu would appear like a beautiful golden kadamba flower. You know, we all know how a kadamba flower looks. They're like little tennis balls, and they have, you know, the hair that is sprung up all over that tiny ball. It's golden in color, and it's got a intoxicating, very, very beautiful, intoxicating fragrance. So Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is actually, when he is in ecstasy, he is compared to this beautiful kadamba flower that, you know, Mahaprabhu is also golden color. And when, you know, his body just erupts in these tiny goos, the hair on his body stand up, he just appears exactly like this fragrant kadamba flower.
And as he was walking, he would either walk very quickly or he would move very slowly. And this reminds us that it is said that we should not be lukewarm in our spiritual life. Either, you know, don't follow, but if you follow it very strictly. So like that, he would move quickly or slowly. And he would weep or he laughed slowly, deeply, and tears were constantly falling from his lotus eyes. And then when the devotees, they started offering food to Lord Chaitanya, he would reject it. No, I will eat only Krishna Prasad and nothing else. And then except for like a tiny touch of prasad that Lord Chaitanya begged doing madhukari from a couple of houses, other than that, he would practically fast for 3 days. And this way, by his own behavior, the Lord taught the people in general how to actually follow the principles. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't sleep at night. Of course, Bhagavad Gita asks us to do in moderation, but Lord Chaitanya was so eager to, and so eager to have the darshan of Lord Jagannath, was so absorbed in pure love for Krishna that he stayed awake continually chanting the holy names. And what were the holy names that he chanted? Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava Rakshama, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pani Mam. This is the similar chant that he was chanting during his South India yatra as well. And Lord Gauranga, he would sing in such a sweet voice, but sometimes his voice would get choked up due to divine love. And he would start saying ga 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 ja ja like that. He was trying to get the vowels and the syllables out of his mouth, out of his, but they would get stuck, they would get choked. And then in this way, Lord Chaitanya and his intimate devotees, they joyfully traveled to Sri Nilachal Dham.
So now, on the way, Srila Loshan Das Thakur describes a very beautiful pastime, that how Lord Chaitanya, he showers his mercy upon a tax collector. Now, in those days, even the state borders, at every state border, there used to be a tax collector. So, you know, when there were a few miles from Nilachal Dham, the Lord and his associates, they were suddenly stopped by persons demanding tax, and they refused to let the Lord and his associates pass unless they paid the tax. But when the tax collectors, when they saw the grave and the divine form of Sri Gauramrita, they were very impressed, and they inquired from the Lord. They said, hey, tell us, how many men are with you? How many men are traveling with you? Just tell us. And the Lord replied, very gravely, the Lord replied, I do not have anyone in this world, and I do not belong to anyone. I am all alone. The entire world is mine. So this is a very deep statement by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That Mahaprabhu, when his associates Nityananda and Srivas Brahmananda, everyone, Gadadhar, they heard, they said, oh, Lord Chaitanya is saying we don't belong to him, that we are not traveling with him. How can the Lord forget us? But the Lord, he is teaching a very, very deep spiritual, knowledge over here. And what is that knowledge? That this should be our mood, that I do not have anyone in this world. No one in this world I can call mine. No one belongs to me, and I don't belong to anyone, because I belong only to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That is my only relationship that I have. Nothing in this material world is mine. I do not belong to anyone. This is what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is teaching by the first two statements, when he said, I do not have anyone in this world and I do not belong to anyone. This is his statement to teach all of us what should be our mood when we are interacting with this material nature. But then when Mahaprabhu realized that his associates are feeling abandoned, then Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu, they're all saying, then what about us, my Lord? If you don't belong to us? Then Lord Chaitanya, he understood as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. He said, the entire world is mine, which means that you, my dear associates, are definitely mine. You are mine, So these three statements by Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has very, very, very deep impact and purport. There's such simple statements, but Mahaprabhu spoke very deep statements. So saying this, the Lord just began shedding incessant tears, and they were flowing out like streams of river. And the tax collector said, oh, Master, you're all alone. You said you're all alone, right? So please, you may pass. Please leave. But I will not let the others pass. You said they are not with you. So until I have received full payment from, these people, I will not let them go. So you may please go. And the completely detached Lord, he said, okay, Mahaprabhu just nodded, and Mahaprabhu left, leaving Nityananda Prabhu and the entire group of devotees. They were all, Lord Chaitanya left us. How could he just leave us?
And they were just remembering Krishna and chanting the holy names so helplessly. And the devotees, they were just plunged like in despondency. We were dependent on the Lord, and now Lord has left us. Where are we? It's like the rug was swept from under their feet. They thought the Lord has left us. And then the devotees, after some consideration, they were like so despondent. My God, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, you've left. And then suddenly there was a silence. They looked at each other and they started laughing. They said, look at the Lord. He says in the Gita that he's completely impartial. But so the Lord is so great. He's so impartial. But he left us. He left us alone. And will he leave us? Will he not come back? What if we are not able to pass this tax collector? Will he go alone? What will happen? And they started drowning into despondency. And Nityananda Prabhu, he pacified them. No, don't worry, don't worry. The Lord will not leave us behind. Have faith in the Lord. Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna will, my devotee never perishes. So Krishna will never allow that.
Yesterday, when Srila Giriraj Maharaj was here, he mentioned this particular statement, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Beautiful.
So the taxman said, you, all of you, you're not accompanying that sannyasi, so you must pay the proper charges. And then everyone felt, this is why the Lord took sannyas. Because in the society in those days, the sannyasis were revered. And before sannyas, Lord Chaitanya would try to preach, everyone would just dismiss him as a madman or as someone who is emotional and not speaking proper philosophy. And but the sannyasis were respected. Everyone would hear from them. And that's the reason, so that people can hear from the instructions of Lord Chaitanya, he took sannyas. And now this taxman, when he saw Lord Chaitanya as the sannyasi, everyone else, including Nityananda Prabhu, was not a sannyasi. So he said, all right, the sannyasi can pass. You are a religious man. Because in those days, remember that there was Mughal rule at least in Bengal. In Puri, it was still Maharaj Prataparudra, and there was a Vedic rule. But in Bengal, so the tax collector was having to pass on the borderline, having to pass people from Bengal into Orissa. And at that time, of course, it was called the whole Madras province. And so he was saying, okay, this is a Hindu country in Orissa, so a sannyasi should be allowed to go. But all of you are not sannyasis. You have to pay taxes. I know that sannyasis, they don't maintain themselves. They don't have anything to maintain themselves. So I won't ask any taxes from them. But you are grihastas, and therefore you must pay up. And the Lord had gone just a short distance. And then he suddenly sat down, and his hands were on his head, and his tears were welling out of his eyes.
Lord Chaitanya sat to wait.
And then, seeing that sight, it is said even the heart of stone would melt, seeing the Lord weeping in such a entreating way. And then the taxman was just filled with wonderment. He said, he's certainly not an ordinary soul. It is impossible for a human being to shed such an excessive amount of tears. Yes, he's a sannyasi, so he's not ordinary. But look at his emotions. These are extraordinary human. And then he looked again carefully at everyone and he inquired, tell me, who are you guys? Who are you all? Who is this person? Whose associates are you? So then they replied, that sannyasi, he is our master. Have you heard of him? His name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and we are his servitors. And as they said this, just acknowledging and realizing that we have such a great fortune to be serving the Lord, their eyes welled up in tears, and devotees, they broke down in tears of divine love for their Lord. Now, this taxman, so far, he was looking at Lord Chaitanya in wonderment and amazement, because he was crying such tears of divine love. And suddenly, these people are crying the tears of divine love. He was dumbfounded. And as he was associating with their moods, he became infused by their mood and purified by their association. He also began to cry. Tears were coming down his cheeks. And then this taxman, he ran towards the sitting figure of the Lord, and he threw himself on the ground like a rod before the Lord's lotus feet. Just by seeing everyone crying in divine love, the taxman became purified. And very humbly he said, I have the great fortune of seeing you, because this great fortune has resulted from my pious activities. Millions of lifetimes I must have done something. Please kindly forgive me for my offense at your lotus feet. I pray that you may arrive safely in Nilachal.
So it is said in one of the songs glorifying all the Vaishnavas, that it is said that Gangaro Porosho Hoile Paschatte Pavon means when we touch the waters of the Ganga, we receive purification by touching the waters of the Ganga. But what is the quality of a Vaishnava? Darshane Pavitra Karo Ei Tomar Gun, which means that just by seeing a Vaishnava, we get purified. That is the quality of a Vaishnava. Such a beautiful, beautiful bhajan that, just by touching the waters of Ganga, we get purified, but by seeing a Vaishnava, we get purified. That is the quality that Srila Prabhupada has, that Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in the line of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in our parampara, such stalwart Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, just by looking at Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada would make devotees.
One time, Srila Prabhupada was sitting along with all the devotees in his room, and there was a person who came, and he was a press reporter. And this press reporter came in, and he asked the devotees, I'm a press reporter, I want to take interview of Srila Prabhupada. So the devotee said, wait, Srila Prabhupada is having a little bit of his breakfast, and then he will answer all the questions. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada was having his breakfast very informally, sitting. He was speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam. He was answering different questions from different devotees.
It's a very informal setting.
Right. And at the same time, he had a bowl full of oranges. And Srila Prabhupada would pick one orange and put it in his mouth without his hand touching his lips. And he would just put in his mouth, he would munch. And then after some time, when the seeds of the oranges would remain, he would just pout his lips and throw the orange seeds, and they would go from his mouth right into the dustbin that was there, into the trash can. And again, he would pop up another orange. He would start munching it, and then it would again go into the trash can. So this reporter, he was new. He had never seen Srila Prabhupada. He had never interacted with him. He had come for an interview, and he was looking at him. He said, whoa, his eyes were fixated towards how Srila Prabhupada is throwing the seeds directly into the trash can. and
Not
how
even one
gracefully,
was missing. Not even one was missing.
and how gracefully he was eating those oranges. It wasn't like sometimes how children eat, just gorge in and just say, and
Or
then
even adults sometimes.
yeah, and then things are spurting out of his mouth. It was very, very pristine.
Graceful.
And then after some time, that reporter left without taking the interview. And after a few days, he came, and this devotee said, "You look. I've seen you somewhere. Where have I seen you?" And this person was shaven-headed.
Had become.
And this devotee said, this shaven-headed devotee said, "Remember that reporter who came the other day? That's me." I was amazed at how Srila Prabhupada was eating the oranges with such grace, and he was throwing the seeds with such grace, and it was not going anywhere other than the trash can. If he can eat so perfectly, he must be a perfect person to learn from.
Haribo.
And so after that, I started coming and hearing his lectures, and I'm convinced, and therefore I'm dedicating my life. And he joined ISKCON in that way, joined Srila Prabhupada. So he did not ask any questions, he did not get to ask any questions, but just by having darshan of Srila Prabhupada and just observing his activities of a pure devotee, he became a devotee.
দর্শনে পবিত্র করো তোমার So this is what a Vaishnava does, that they purify everyone just by allowing people to have their darshan. So this is what happened to the tax collector. He was just purified by seeing the intense shedding of tears of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu on the one side and Gauranga Mahaprabhu's dearly beloved associates on the other side. So Lord Chaitanya, he blessed the taxman, and the taxman did not charge anything, even a single penny, from the associates of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu also, and they all continued on towards their journey towards Nilachal Dham. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has advented as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, taking on the most compassionate mood of his beloved consort, Mahabhav Swarupini, Srimati Radha Thakurani, to deliver all living entities. And only the atheistic sinners who are inimical towards the Vaishnavas and addicted to performing the most abominable activities will be deprived of the Lord's mercy. So two kinds of people. Who are the two kinds of people? The atheistic sinners who are inimical towards the Vaishnavas and who are addicted to performing abominable activities. These two categories of people will be deprived of the Lord's mercy. So Lord Chaitanya's name is so potent that even the demons have a change of heart by chanting his name and his glories. Yet the demoniac people who are envious of other people, they reprobate and do not accept this supreme mercy and compassion, and they do not have any faith in the power of such mercy. They doubt such mercy. So we do not want to be in this category. We want to be in the category of, that yes, we are demons, but we have only one hope, that is the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that simply by chanting the names of Gaura, 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 that we'll be delivered.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Anyone who faithfully listens to this pastime and who derives joy from listening to this pastime of the Lord and of this deep bond and this wonderful pastime of the taxman's conversion will definitely see the beautiful moon-like face of Lord Chaitanya directly. Adyapi halila kore Shri Gaurai Kono Kono Bhagavan Dekhi Bare Pai, which means Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are being performed even now. Whoever is blessed by the Lord to see can see, but others cannot see. Amrita lahari badan bhole ekbar bolo Hari 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 Hari.
So today we dedicate the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to all the devotees and the people affected by the Ukraine-Russia conflict and all the people around the world who are in difficult situations. We pray to Lord Nrsingadev to grant protection and fearlessness to everyone. We especially pray for our dearest AJ, who is Amrita Radhika's dearest nephew. So we pray for the family to give them strength and give protection to AJ. And we also pray for all the devotees who are in difficult situations, in sickness. So if you would like us to dedicate Kirtan for you or your family, please message us and we'll dedicate the Kirtan for you. Hare Krishna.
Madhyanitimirankasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumidam Yena Tasmai Shri Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Nishita Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gauramatabhinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Hare Krishna. So before we open up the lines, we'll just announce the quiz questions for today.
First, how did Lord Chaitanya express his ecstasy while traveling towards Nilachal Dham?
Second, what is the holy name that Lord Chaitanya was chanting while traveling to Jagannath Puri?
Third, what should be our mood when we are dealing with materialistic people?
Fourth, what is the quality of a Vaishnava?
Fifth, who are the two kinds of people deprived of the Lord's mercy?
Sixth, what is the PhalaStuti of listening to these transcendental pastimes? Thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika, for these fantastic quiz questions. We are so grateful to you for so wonderfully doing this service. Heartfelt gratitude to you. Thank you. So now we can open up the lines for any comments, questions, realizations, reflections. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, then with
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna, Prabhupada.
all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Just I want to thank you, Mataji. I do not have any question. Thank you so much for a wonderful session and wonderful bhajan. So it is very nice. And that one most touchable one is by seeing the Vaishnava will get purified. Now that is most touchable one. And the taxman became a devotee, right? After seeing the Mahaprabhu shedding the tears and the devotee association. So it is very, very touchable one. And Prabhupada's pastime also very good. That she's throwing the seeds directly to the trash can, right? So I'm just I'm doing the imagination in my mind. Okay, Prabhupada was sitting like this and he'd be doing like that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is very, very wonderful session and great life lesson for us. Hare Krishna. That with
Hare
Pranam. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Roji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And Judy?
Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe,
Hare Krishna Ji. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Jai Jai.
Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Vargas and Gauranga. Thank you so much for your wonderful association. It was really such a big takeaway. Looking at the just as Vaishnavas, we can be. I just don't know. I'm so speechless, And I said, your association is so wonderful to all of us, to all the devotees every day. We just wait for 6 a.m. Yesterday, I don't know how much I miss you, but then Prabhupada class was there and I said, okay, this is so wonderful. At least, it was so wonderful. And today, again, you have just told us, how blessed and how fortunate we are that we are in your association. Thank you so much. I just pray to Lord, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to shower his choicest blessings on both of you, Bhaiya and Bhavi. And you are totally blessed. You are so blessed. And we also, just with your association, we all should also be blessed by Mahaprabhu. And every, as just now Prabhuji said, that even I was imagining the same thing. How he must be sitting and how he must be eating Prabhupada. And I was also very fortunate to have his darshan when I was a child. So I just don't know what to say. Hare Krishna.
We are so blessed to be associated with you.
See, even you, because of having darshan of Srila Prabhupada, now you're a devotee.
Yeah, it's so true.
This
It's
is
so
so
true.
amazing.
And then when you say that, even I felt one more thing was like, my father used to take us, or like my grandmom, we have seen Leelas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed by a very big devotee in Mathura. His name was Guru uh, Govind. I'm not remembering the full name now,
Mhm.
but he used to, like, he was a very, very big follower of SCON, and he very big devotee, and he used to perform those. So in our summer holidays, we used to see all those Leelas of Mahaprabhu, of especially Nimai Nitai. That's what was engraved in our mind still. And we used to see those Leelas, and they were so wonderful. And now I'm connecting all those pastimes and everything together. And now that time we were children, we didn't know what all the importance and PhalaStuti was. But now when you tell in each class, and I just say, big thank you to my parents for raising us like that, which maybe we didn't know that time, all these, PhalaStutis.
That is so true. That is so true. Our gratitude always to all of our parents, for making us who we are today.
Yes, very true. That day we just take for granted. We just don't know. But now we know that what the importance it had. Nowadays, the children grow up seeing Netflix and everything, but I think so. We just don't know what. We were so blessed. Thank you so much. And I say the best, the thing is that this is only Lord's grace and mercy. It's only Lord's grace and mercy. So deep gratitude, just if we just be the servants of Lord's lotus feet, and we will be fine.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. We are truly
Hare
blessed to
Krishna.
have your association and all of your association. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dee.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much for everything, for actually just, diverting us and just taking us on this path, and just every day reminding us about all these pastimes. Actually, they are very, very important also. Otherwise, in this material world, we forget everything. But then it is a very constant reminder. And early morning in India, especially, we start our day with this. So we are so blessed, so fortunate. Thank you so much, Bhaiya Bhabi. Deep gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you. Love you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Very nice, sweet pastime. It's nice to know again that, when you touch Ganga water, you get purified. And all you have to say is, look at a Vaishnava and you get purified. It is so beautiful. That's why whenever Maharajas come and Vaishnavas come, people just gather to just have a darshan. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So it is so beautiful, Mataji. Nice pastime. Thank you so much for your association and the story. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Krishna Sarana Prabhu. Mataji, thank you. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. Danvan Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Thank you very much. Such a wonderful pastimes, Prabhuji. You tell today, Srila Prabhupada, how the Vaishnava darshan is very, very important for us. Just by seeing the darshan of Vaishnava, we got purified, and we just got the recent example of our Gurudev when he came to Atlanta, Just by seeing his darshan, I did not see Srila Prabhupada, but just by seeing Gurudev, we got so much purified. And also, like Anju Mataji said, we are getting very purified by seeing both of you, Mataji. So much for both of your association, Mataji. And Mataji, the bhajan you sang, is that in the KK songs? I would like to hear the first line again. It's so beautiful, bhajan, Mataji.
Yes, it is. I believe it is written by Narottam Das Thakur. It is called Ebaro Koruna Koro Vaishnava Gosai.
Okay, I will look.
I think it is by Narottam Das Thakur. I mean, if I sing the whole bhajan, I will remember it. But yes, thank you, Lalita, for confirming that it is Narottam Das Thakur. And it's called Eibaro Koruna Koro Vaishnava Gosai.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
I'll send the
Very,
link.
very,
Very
yeah,
beautiful.
very beautiful. But then thank you, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful pastime. So, Srila Prabhupada, how that person is, that reporter, he got purified just by seeing the Srila Prabhupada and he got initiated. And next time he come and become a great devotee of Srila Prabhupada. Wow. So good. Jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi Chitra Mataji, Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, can I ask you a question? Hare Krishna.
Sure.
You know, Mahaprabhu said he will only have prasadam which is offered to Krishna. He will not have anything to eat besides the prasadam. But also they go for madhukari and eat that. Is that a offered prasadam? How does it work, Prabhu?
Well, I think when they go for Madhukari, they only take something very, very little, then they offer it and then honor it.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Or in the mind itself.
Okay.
It may not be in front of deities or anything. They offer in the mind and they accept it.
And
Okay.
sometimes, of course, if it is from Vaishnava homes, then it is obviously
Right.
prasad. But the reason Lochandas Thakur mentions this about Mahaprabhu saying that no, I will not take anything but Krishna prasad. It's not that his associates were offering him anything which was not prasad. They were also giving him prasad. But Lord Chaitanya was setting the standard that we must be very careful that whatever we eat, it should be Krishna prasad. So that is the main purport that we take from this pastime.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions, comments, reflections? If not, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam
Tanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji, Danvan Pranam.
Hare Krishna again.
Hare Krishna.